Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Chainlink Rejuvenation. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So, Chainlink is one of my top holdings, and it has been for a long time. It's done incredibly well over the years. But unfortunately, recently, it hasn't done as well compared to a lot of other cryptocurrencies. Now, if you look at the chart of the US dollar valuation of Link, it's hard to look at this and be upset. Okay, it's very hard to look at this and be upset. I do imagine, though, that there are some people who bought over here and they still feel a little bit trapped. But one thing we can say is that historically speaking, Link does tend to bail people out, even if they did buy at a local top. Okay, we've seen it time and time again, and it continued to move higher even in the bear market. The local top over here was like $1.50. Over here was like $5. It was really like $4, but around $4 to $5. Here is about just shy of 20. I'm sure you guys remember that pump. This one was about 55 or so. I mean, I'm going to continue to speculate that we will ultimately trend to over $100, maybe by next year. Okay, that's what we're looking at this stage. Now, the current valuation is still only $31, and we put out a video a couple weeks ago where we said, digging deep, and the valuation of Link at the time was $27. But a couple weeks before that, the valuation was $34, and so Link still has not done a whole lot in the last few weeks. But I am hoping that as we go into, say, the next 6 to 12 months or so, that it will start to do something. But namely not just against the US dollar, but against Ethereum and against Bitcoin. Okay, so when crypto is in a bull market, or we're in the middle of a market cycle, it's not hard for cryptocurrencies to trend up against the US dollar. We know that. A lot of people could predict or could pick a lot of different altcoins that would have done really well in a bull market. That's not that challenging. What's harder is when you value those altcoins against Bitcoin and against Ethereum. And we know that against Bitcoin, Link continues to be in this long pattern here. Okay, this long, and basically it's been putting in lower highs, okay, and more or less the lows have been about the same, right? This was the same as this one, but note that this one was slightly higher. So maybe you could even try to draw it and like that or something. All right. Now, what I'm hoping for, sincerely, is that after digging deep for a while, is that Link will come out the other side, and I hope that we break out to the upside over here. This is what I would like to see with a Link Bitcoin valuation. One of the things I spoke about, this was a while back. If you go look at this on the linear scale, you could argue that this looked like a textbook bubble going into this move and then all the way back down into the despair phase, okay? And I am still thinking that there's a decent chance we can get back above this line and continue higher. I know that a lot of people are skeptical, and we'll just have to wait and see, right? We'll have to wait and see. I do think Link's undervalued, but I also recognize that a lot of money right now is on layer ones and speculating there. So I think that Link will continue to trend up with time, but it certainly isn't trending up as quickly as some of the other altcoins that we follow on the channel. Now, the Link Bitcoin valuation is interesting, but I would say the Link Ether valuation is where we really want to draw our attention to. Okay, so this is something that I do think is worthwhile to follow, because at this point, Link USD is doing okay today, right? But this is the same value we've been at the last month or two, right? Can Link rally against Ether? And we had previously held this line as support many times, right? A lot, in fact, we had held it as support. Now, unfortunately, recently we dropped down to the downside, but today we're back up to it. And I'm watching this pretty closely here. Can Link's valuation against Ethereum get back on track here? Okay, this is what we want to see. We don't want to see Link continue to drop down into this pit of hell down this way. We don't want to see it go that way. Interestingly as well, like Bitcoin, if you look at this on a linear scale, You could also argue that it sort of went through that massive bubble phase, and perhaps this is the despair phase of the Link Ether valuation. Okay, so what I'm hoping to see is at some point that Link will outperform Bitcoin and that Link will outperform Ethereum. We already know it's doing relatively okay against the US dollar. I mean, again, maybe if you bought at $50, you're not super happy. But again, if you look at the low of 2021, the low was $14. If you look at the low of 2020, if you go all the way back over here, the low was $1.30. And you just keep going back in time, right? The low in 2018 was all the way down at like 18 cents or something. So over time, Link gains value. It almost seems to move different than the rest of the crypto asset class, right? I mean, how many assets were moving up during the bear market? Not very many. How many assets put in a new all-time high in 2019 above their 2017, 2018 all-time high? Not very many, not even Bitcoin or Ethereum. Okay, Link also had a summer bubble back in August of 2020, and then it made a nice move into May of 2021. Back over here, I was hoping to see Link continue to do well, but unfortunately, what happened? We know Bitcoin dropped below the 20-week SMA, and then when Bitcoin typically drops below it, everything has a knee-jerk reaction to it, right? Everything seems to have a knee-jerk reaction to Bitcoin anytime Bitcoin drops below the 20-week SMA. So that was unfortunately put on pause. But at this point, what did we have? We had that summer lull, we came back up, and now we're at least attempting to hold the bull market support band as support. And if it holds, which I think is a decent chance, then maybe we'll see a rally to new all-time highs. Something else I was looking at, if you go to Link USD longs, I was watching this, they've gone up a lot recently. And you might look at that and say, well, is that a bearish thing? Well, the best thing I think to do is look to see what happened last time the longs skyrocketed. The last time they went to these levels was back at the end of December and early January, okay? And at that phase, the end of December and early January, that's what sort of kickstarted Link's journey from maybe $10 up to about 55. So it was a 5x move. So again, I'm just dubiously speculating on here. I mean, I know some people might look at this and say, well, longs need to get liquidated. On the contrary, what looks like happened over here, longs went up, and then they got closed out as Link USD went up. So people basically were just closing out their longs as it went up. So I'm just sort of looking at this as an indicator that a lot of people are starting to get bullish on Link. It looks like a lot of longs are being opened. Link's trading for over $31. Link Ether is pretty undervalued right now, and I think that's the most concerning thing to watch. But it is still possible that this is just simply the despair phase of the Link Ether valuation, and we can come out the other side. If anything, we will continue to follow Chainlink. I'll probably provide updates every week or two, just depending on what the market's doing. The last video I did was back over here on October 8th, and you can see we were at $27. But again, if you go back to a couple videos before that, we were at like 34 and 37, 31. So not a whole lot has changed with Link over the last several weeks, over the last several months. But hopefully either, I'm hoping that in 2022 that Link can make a sustained push to $100. Until then, we'll have to wait and see. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Remember to check out the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe, click the bell icon to turn on notifications, and I will see you next time. Bye.